Hey, my brothers and sisters, it's Deanna. I'm coming to you on November 13th, and this is going to be just a really always try to be very real and raw on my channel, and hopefully this reaches some of my friends and sisters and brothers that I have met on social media, specifically Facebook, because I left it and I will never go back to it ever again. I permanently deleted my account. And I think the name of the video today is going to be Extreme Cases of Gaslighting. Find your alternatives, guys. I know making the switch initially is really rough because we have, for me, gained so many bonds. And I've been, probably since the 3rd, so for the past 10 days, extremely depressed. And it is not because I got rid of the platform of social media. It's because there's some, mainly sisters, but a few brothers too, that I miss tremendously. But it's a time now in 2020 that we really have to be in integrity. And Mark Zuckerberg has zero integrity. He sells your data. He does your facial recognition. He sells that as well. He's funded the latest far left agendas to make our country a socialist country, which is not good. And because I'm coming to you on YouTube, I have to say this as well, because it's owned by Google, that it's going to happen with them too, because there's many people in big tech, mainstream media, politicians, corporations that have sold out basically they're American traitors, because we are supposed to stand for freedom. And what's happening right now on the biggest scale is a huge, if you're sensitive like myself, an empath, and you've ever came across narcissists in your life, we're seeing it on a wide scale right now. So on the YouTube, I have been researching different alternatives for me, because this is my passion, sharing the astrology, sharing the ascension, sharing just oracle cards, whatever it is that I feel called to share. I am currently leaning towards BitChute. That's BITCHUTE, if you aren't aware of it, for transitioning this channel to that as well. And I've been praying a lot, and because Google is not in integrity as well, my channel's only has 130 subscribers, and I'm okay with that, but I'm being guided that if I switch to BitChute, that it'll grow more than that, because we have to leave behind all of these things that are not in integrity. So watch for my channel starting up there. I won't take this channel down right away. I'm just a small channel here, but many channels that are sharing truth are being censored, and just channels completely disappearing off this platform, along with Facebook as well, of biased censorship. And how we do that is breaking up with the shitty narcissist. It's, like I said, not an easy transition, because I thought some of the friends that knew I was leaving to go to a different social media platform would also do the same, but I don't see anybody there yet. So it's kind of been a very depressing week for me, and feel like I'm on the front of that transition, because I switched to Parler, which is kind of like a cross between Twitter and whatever, and it's okay, but I really don't want to discuss all politics all the time. So for right now, I've got a account on MeWe, which is more of a Facebook platform. But like I said, as far as continuing videos, I think I'm going to transition to BitChute so far. I've also checked out Rumble for another platform that has zero censorship. And so what's happening with the suppression right now, especially since our election on the 3rd, is way deeper than just political, and it is branched into this dark energy trying to control all of us. And my God, the web is so deep. It's from, like I said, from politics to schools indoctrinating our children. I just heard on the radio yesterday, when I was gone to town running some errands, that they're telling people for in the future, if we want to go to concerts, that Ticketmaster is working with trying to figure out a way that when you purchase a ticket, you will either A, have to have a COVID vaccination, or B, you will have to have a test that is a result of negative COVID. Well, like I said, the web is just deep. It's basically they have weaponized the virus that was unleashed. And as we know, I mean, you'd have to be completely asleep. You'd have to be one of those where there are people I know that I walked away from that they get all of their information from TV, and you're being fed lies, you're being gaslit, you're hearing stories that are the actually opposite of what's happening. And if you know anything about narcissism like I do, the narcissist projects what they're thinking and what they're doing wrong onto the victim. And a lot of times it's the sensitive souls like us that they project on until you have healthy boundaries, which I find no coincidence that it took about 6 years ago. I finally did draw the line in the sand with people of the narcissistic traits and the sociopath traits and said no more, because now I'm seeing it on this collective scale. You have to question everything, and where your answers come from are from within you, because the programming and the psychological warfare that's happening right now is worse than it's been ever. I will speak briefly on the political aspect of it, and that is that you've been programmed to hate a man that's not a politician, that is our current president. And they're twisting it, all this fraud, which there's plenty of citizens that have not only recorded but also signed legal affidavits proving that there's been major voting fraud. You have to question and go, why is this happening? Why does the far radical left want to suppress and steal the American citizens' right to vote? And if it doesn't make you question it, like I said, I don't care what your political view is, you should be pausing and saying, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on here? Because there's so much gaslighting going on, so much programming. You know, they've been saying it across not only social media, but mainstream TV media, lying, gaslighting, and now they've ramped up the COVID fear, you know, full throttle spikes. And what they do in the socialist agenda is breaking down the family units. You can go to Walmart, but you can't go to church and, you know, gather and pray. You can go to Walmart, but you can't get together with your family on the holidays. If this doesn't raise a red flag for anybody, and the reason it hasn't for some is because they're in the fear of the COVID virus, that I'm not saying is not real, but they've weaponized it. And personally for me, for the research that I've done, is that it was actually a manipulated virus that they released intentionally. So it's bioweapon, if you ask me. Again, if they take this channel down for me saying this, even though I only have 130 subscribers, I'm really nobody to them. You don't usually get the attention of the algorithms of Google or Facebook until you have big groups, and they were taking big groups down off of Facebook. Stand Up Michigan was one of them. That were just patriots that believe in freedom, and they, without a warning, got taken down. And I told them the first time they got taken down, leave Facebook. Leave it. It is never going to change. Ever. It was an agenda. And Mark Z, who I can't stand at all, was just one of many people that invested in this election, in the fraud. So the far left socialist agenda. It's like all of these traders wanted to sell their souls to China. And it's disgusting to me. It's eye-opening. And it's time that we as citizens across the globe stand up and say no frickin' more, and that we will not tolerate it, because just like the start of this with the mask. That was just nothing to do with your health. They don't care about your health. And Bill Gates is very invested in what's happening. Don't take my word for anything. Research yourself, but you can't research on Google, guys, and you cannot trust a damn word that mainstream media tells you. And if the Facebook censorship has not been enough for you to wake up and go, what the hell is going on? No matter what side of the fence you're on, to me is irrelevant. It's far deeper than political, and you should be seeing that by now. I didn't bring any cards out here with me today, but this is my sharing with any of my friends that genuinely honor me like I honor you. You're gonna have to find me on different platforms because I permanently deleted my Facebook. I will not be back on it. This YouTube channel may or may not stay because it's through Google. So I'm leaning towards, I'm on Parler, Virgo Girl 13 for now. And I am looking to create my account, and as long as nobody has already used the name on BitChute for my streaming, it will be Divine Divination is going to be my channel name. Been praying about that, wanting it to come to me, because it's far more than me trying to share with sensitive souls. It's more of talking about the real life events that are going on, talking about the ascension symptoms that we experience when you're a light worker, a sensitive soul. And that's something I wanted to be really real with you guys, is because this last week, the collective energy of all the gaslighting and the fraud that was definitely 120% provable, that's got our election in the United States held up right now, is also supported astrologically. I've kind of felt it was coming, but when you realize how deep the deception is and how far the web of corruption is, like I said, whether it be in social media or big tech or mainstream media or people that were supposed to be religious figures or our schooling indoctrination, it's mind-boggling. So this year, they're gaslighting people, going, oh, there's no fraud. And what a narcissist does, and what a sociopath does, is projects out of their mouth how they truly feel. And you can give them proof with paper, with written affidavit, and they will call you a conspiracy theorist, and they'll tell you there's no proof. It's major gaslighting going on right now. And if you're sensitive like myself, you're feeling it. I've been drained. I've had to increase my self-care, which I always encourage on my channel. Drink lots of water, take lots of Epsom salt baths, because we're feeling the collective energy of the fear and the deception filter through us. And not to mention, on the 11/11 portal just a couple days ago and then last night, we've had major Schumann spikes again, and it comes through often in me with feeling anxious, and so feeling not balanced, sometimes vertigo. So it is so important right now that we have radical self-care and make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and disconnecting. I got rid of TV 6 years ago. It was the best decision I ever made, but I still, of course, hear information through online. But I felt, like I said, I've been a little bit depressed over the last week or so because I missed the people that I genuinely have bonds with through Facebook. But the minute that I went into the settings and found out how to not just deactivate my account, but permanently delete it after I saved all my pictures, there's options there if anybody else is even thinking about jumping ship, for you to do that. You download all your information first, and then you go into the settings. All you have to do is look it up. It's there. Facebook doesn't make it easy. They want you to keep that account there so they can continue to collect your data, but takes 30 days for it to be permanently deleted, and mine's well on its way to being that. It felt like a relief to me, and the reason is because the platform started out, got everybody addicted, kind of like a cigarette, got everybody addicted to it. It's became a way of life for us, And then he demonized it because he's a traitor. If you look into his eyes, you can see he's just, his soul, he sold his soul for corruption. And he's not the only one, you know. Twitter as well, completely got rid of it. It's in the process of being permanently deleted as well, because there was such a bias there as well. And anything that's not in integrity has to die. We can't keep supporting it. If the people, I know on the past 2 days after the election, there was like almost 4.5 million people that switched to Parler. And if you research and do your research about John Motz, the founder of Parler, you can look at him and listen to him and look into his eyes, and he's beautiful. He has integrity. He is supporting free speech without a bias, PolitiFacts, and all the other bullshit fact checkers. So I do feel relieved in that manner, but I'm been sad and anxious because I thought if this election bullshit and the amping up of Facebook taking down people's things and fact checking them and blocking them out when you're sharing the truth, you eventually more people will leave it. If not, you'll just be hook, line, and sinkered into the same thing too, because change is 2020 is obviously change. And like I said, I went off Facebook, I think in 2012, and I was off of it for 2 years. And at that time, I didn't have healthy boundaries. And so it was a lot of drama with people or acquaintances because I didn't have healthy boundaries yet. This time is a whole different feel. I went back on Facebook in 2014 after my son passed away because I needed to reach out. And I'm thankful I actually did for those couple years because I met a lot of other bereaved mothers, every like-minded people, you know, and it's important for us to have that connection with people, authentic ones. And so the bonds that I made were real. So I'm hoping if you are a subscriber of my channel that you hear me today to let you know that I will not be back on it. I don't remember where I listened to it at, but there's also a fact out there that Mark Zuckerberg has been collecting your facial, which we already know facial recognition is on there, but he's been doing it in some shady ways to start it to where there's an algorithm where he can just share something on there through the algorithms, through your face and this, that, and the other of just everything, what you're thinking, what you're going to buy next. And I know that's true with Google. I don't use Google. The alternative to a beautiful search engine is I use Echo Asia. They're a great search engine. And then also DuckDuckGo is another one that's great for a search engine. I have everything Google, of course, except for my YouTube channel, turned off on my phone. Another thing I'd like to bring to your attention is if you have a phone, doesn't matter whether it's Android or Apple, I can only help you with the Android part. They just mysteriously added into your updates on your phone COVID tracking. It is under Google, and you can go into your settings on your phone, scroll down, I think it's under apps, of course, go down in your settings to Google, click on it, and you'll see COVID-19 tracking. Make sure you turn it off. There's a little 3 dots on the side where you can push on that on the right-hand side, turn the COVID tracking off. This is about complete surveillance of the people. This is about restricting your travel. That's why I say it's way deeper than political. There are corrupt people, American traitors here, that have sold their souls into communism and socialism. And it's like a replay of the frickin' Hitler scenario all over again. Bill Gates, the eugenics himself, wants to vaccinate your children. There's also out there, this is recent, just found it, Corbett report of, go on YouTube, go under Corbett report about children being vaccinated without parents' consent. It's real. It's not conspiracy. Listen to it. He gives you facts on that. So if you do have your children in public school still, before we go into this next round of lockdowns, because that's their next agenda, they're putting the fear of COVID up right after this election because they don't want people to keep researching about the voter fraud that happened with facts, not conspiracy, it's facts. They keep calling some of the ones that were computer glitches. There was no glitches. It was a freaking program to switch votes from a leader who is standing in the way and supports our freedom and believes that each one of us have the right to do better in our lives versus the socialist agenda on the far left. So sorry to burst your bubble if you don't know that already. But I think it's very, very funny that not only mainstream media, but even social media has programmed people to hate our current president. It's disgusting. I'm always for the underdog, and because people are lying, cheating, and stealing, we are on a mass scale of gaslighting that is happening in our current time right now that people need to stand up. So the Corbett report is about giving children vaccinations without the parents' consent at school. I highly suggest that you guys research that. Maybe it may be time to pull your kids out of school until the adults get their shit together on the playground. It isn't conspiracy theorist, it's conspiracy, and it's a dark agenda to have 100% surveillance of you and I, to determine that if you don't take my toxic vaccination for a virus that's got a huge survival rate, then you're not going to be able to go here and you're not going to be able to go there. And if the proof is in the pudding, it's out there if you do your research. And if you just be still and talk to your higher self, God will give you the answers that what I'm sharing with you is truth. And truth, why is it censored on social media, and why is it so you're being gaslit on a mass scale with the TV programming? Is because their agendas and because the truth coming out doesn't fit their narrative. It's about a one world order, but not in a peaceful way. It's about tracking you or I on what we do, where we go, what we eat, who we're with. It's alarming. My daughter's at a university and they literally are talking them up like, do your COVID tracking so they can tell who you've been with, where you've been. Has nothing to do with your freaking health at all. And you know, all these people that are in universities, hospitals, that are literally apparently have COVID, their families can't be in with them, but yet you can have TV reporters go in with them. Does that make any sense to you? Like I said, I'm not saying the virus isn't real, but they've weaponized it to the 10. This is a full takeover by the radical left that are American traitors that want us to be controlled and dominated by surveillance. And Bill Gates is a eugenic, so that means that he thinks his bloodline is better than you or I's. That's why he's done such horrible things in Africa. All of these things research, but like I said, don't go on Google. Don't expect the TV to tell you any of this. We're not quite there yet. The dark cannot win because there's many people in the masses waking up to seeing the truth. But what are you going to do about it? What else would I like to share before I let you guys go? I'm feeling heavy. I'm probably going to take a bath. I was feeling ungrounded. That's why I'm sitting outside bundled up in my chore clothes. But my channel's a passion. It's been a passion. It's been a way for me to be in service to others because it helps me as well, being a bereaved mother, and being fully realized, meaning I'm awake from all the programming that's happening. But the mass scale of gaslighting that's happening right now, I feel the energies of that. So the anxiety and exhaustion's been for real, you know. So it's a lot of radical self-care. Highly recommend that for you guys too. So reach out to me if you are a true friend of mine that I met on Facebook. Please reach out to me. I'll leave the comments open on this as long as this particular video stays up. But I've just given you alternatives on how to get through to me, which is Parlor Virgo Girl 13. And I have not created my channel name on BitChute yet, but I do believe it's going to be Divine Divination. As long as that name is not taken, I can give an update to that. There are also people that are friends of friends that were friends with me on Facebook that you can find me and get my personal number from them, or vice versa. Reach out. I will not be back on it. And that is because we have to be the light worker that breaks up with the freaking narcissist, whether it be your boyfriend, whether it be social media and big tech, whether it be mainstream media. It's time to get your ducks in a row and say goodbye to it, because tolerating the behavior is not okay. I'm a firm supporter with connecting with God every day, and I still, even though I go back and forth because watching and witnessing all the gaslighting and the narcissist, there is no president-elect office, and I find it very funny that that's what they are, throwing Dementia Joe up there in front of a sign saying president-elect. He has no authority. He is just a person like you or and I, but he's being used as a pawn to instill fear, one world order, acting like a hero. It's like the Bill Gates Foundation. They act like humanitarians and, oh, we care about health, and they've made many people not only sick, but die. And they started in Africa. Shame on them. Pretending to be a humanitarian when they're really being deceptive and poisoning people and sterilizing females. And I'm sorry, I'll say this too, because I do believe it's my body, my choice. I'm not a far-leaning feminist on this. Oh, by the way, November 13th is the Feminine Day, so being receptive and open to the things, but it also means having the armor of God on to protect yourself against the dark energies that are very, very rampant right now. Any party, any person that supports full-time term abortion is fucking disgusting to me. So start educating yourself on what you're investing your belief system in. Like people or not, look at policies, because the United States is we're the sisters and brothers keeper. We're supposed to set the tone for the rest of the world. And so what we're seeing is a dismantling. It's that Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn stellium that's been in Capricorn of structure, authority, government, that is being dismantled before our eyes. And it's a dark energy grabbing on for control. It's gotta die, but it has to take the citizens across the globe to say, no more, I'm not supporting this, before it will die. The longer we allow it and support it, the longer this is going to take. I remember being pregnant 26 and 24 years ago and feeling my child in my body after about 4 months, and I could not freaking imagine supporting a system that says it's okay to kill our children up to full term. It's disgusting. It's appalling. I predict it's hugely supported that when the truth comes out and where our president is rightfully called a second term, that we're going to see all these people that we're celebrating turn into riots and looting again. So take good care of yourself. Always put the armor of God on. Increase your self-care, like I said, because we had this Schumann spike again, and we have this integration of light coming in that's literally changing us, and it can be pretty deep for us light workers. I love you guys so much, and reach out to me if you feel called to. Namaste.